I'm going to go ahead and call the June Land and Facilities meeting to order. We'll start off with a roll call.
Tina Babin.
Here.
Ms. Valerie Bushwa.
Here.
Mr. Henry LaFarge.
Here.
Item 2, item 2A is to receive a report from Andy Positeri on Thibodeau Middle School.
Good evening, everyone. So my Thibodeau Middle School reports get smaller and smaller because they're just on the cusp of completing everything. So, of course, unfortunately, they're tied up in a little bit of inclement weather right now, but they are finishing the site work on both the old West Thibodeau side and a little bit of the east. If y'all been out there recently, they replaced a concrete panel that wasn't draining properly today in the staff parking lot, so they were working on that today. So they're continuing to, again, finish site work. There's a little bit of drainage work that was done along the bus drop-off driveway close to 7th Street. And then once it dries out enough, they'll start digging the pond on the corner of 12th and Cardinal, close to where West used to be. While they're doing the rest of that little bit of site work, all of that's projected to be finished in about 30 days or so, again, weather permitting. And then while they're doing that, again, we're maintaining the completion of punch work items on the main building, a little bit of warranty work that comes up. So some of those, as I said before, those are expected, but the contractor and their subs are addressing them pretty quickly. So happy to take any questions if y'all have them.
The areas that I had talked about, they said there were planting areas in the middle of the parking lot on the west side. Yes. Okay. They have those big square things that if you back into one of those, you're gone. They said it was a planting area, but nothing's been done.
I think they're still pouring, I think, some of that, or not pouring, but they're still kind of grading some of that out. There's some of the area where there's one of the light poles. There's a site lighting pole that's in one, I believe.
Yeah, I think one, but one for sure is a light pole. I think there was one that didn't have anything in it.
Okay.
Not it's real hard at night to see that. Yeah. That parking lot's used a lot.
I'll double check that for you. I'm not sure that all the lighting's in,
okay.
But I'll double check it.
And then you talked about from the inside, if you drive by at night, having something inside that the area right when you walk in that you could see from the street. Is that off the table now, or is that still part
I think that was taken off the table. There was some discussion about what to put, what graphics. I don't know that ever got finalized.
Oh, okay, that would be really nice. So you talked about having something that you could see from the street with West Thibodeau Middle School or whatever in that area when you walk in.
Right.
Greg would be so happy that you said yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right, east, west, middle, no, whatever. I went to all of them, east, west. So I still. So anyway, just was wondering because it did look pretty.
I think it's still an unresolved item on our list. But, I'll look into that and I'll get some information back to.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Hey, item 3, Dawson, Holloway, and Cortez, Mr. Justin Cortez. We have A, receive a report from Justin Cortez on the St. Charles Elementary School classroom edition. So we'll start with that one.
How y'all doing this evening?
Good evening.
All right. So St. Charles, we have the contractor has been mobilizing on site recently over the past month. They have a job shack on site. They're getting their layout yard set up, and they have started demolishing the modular buildings. So in the footprint of where the new building is going to be, that's all been demolished and cleared out. They're going to start laying out, locating where piles are going to be going, building corners, all that good stuff. And they're anticipating starting the drive pile next month. So that'll be happening soon. They are currently working on demolishing the other buildings on the other side of campus right now, where the pavilion for the kids are going outside. Other than that, interior of building number 1, admin area, they gutted that, so that's ready for them to start doing all the new finishes, framing the walls for the restrooms. They're trying to make a lot of progress on that and get that completed as soon as possible. So that way, hopefully, at the start of school, that'll be ready, if not ready for the start of school, shortly thereafter. So that's about it right now. Take any questions y'all have.
Okay. Then B is to consider a change order request for repairs for St. Charles Elementary School classroom addition. So do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, I can.
Why don't you read the action for us?
The recommended action is to accept a change order request in the sum of $836.55 to abate and dispose of tile at St. Charles Elementary School.
I have a motion by Mr. LaFawn and a second by Ms. Boothwell.
And so when we were gutting the bathroom area where the new bathroom is going to be, they removed some base cabinets and we found asbestos tile under those cabinets that wasn't picked up way back when that was finished after Ida. So we got a price from the contractor. It seems fair for that little bit of work. We're recommending to accept it.
Any public comment? Any board discussion? If not, we'll go ahead and vote on that one. That motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 4, Castos Goodwin Utley Engineers and LLC, and the item is A, to receive a report from Brandon Cortez on Thibodeau High School generator connection point.
Evening, everyone. So it's been a while since we've had anything to report on this project, but we finally had some progress recently. So to recap, this project gives the school the ability to easily connect a portable generator in the case of its utility outage. So within the past couple weeks, the contractor was able to get most of his work completed now that school's out for summer break. So they've installed the new switchgear section, which is interlocked with the new connection box. The one outstanding item is the transfer switch, and they're scheduled to complete that this Friday. So after that's done, we expect the job to be substantially complete.
Board comment or discussion? Ms. Bettina?
But so when the electricity goes off, somebody has to go and actually flip a switch to make the generator work?
Right.
What
Yeah.
happens
So
in the middle of a hurricane when the,
well, that would be done beforehand. You'd
Okay.
want to have that in place if you were expecting it.
so when you flip the switch, it doesn't automatically go on, it's only the things that are running?
It's a manual
Okay.
switch. Yes.
They're all like that in our schools?
This is unique.
I thought so.
We only have backup generators on campuses to run the coolers
Right.
and the emergency lights. That is not what this is. What this is, if we have some catastrophic event and we need to power up the entire building, the power is going to be out for an extended period of time.
Okay.
What we had to do before we put these switches in is you had to get a professional electrician to turn power off to the building and then hardwire a generator into the building, which is not ideal. What we're installing with this switch, if I make a mistake, it makes a generator that you can purchase. You can get like a 1 meg generator rented. They deliver it, and you basically just plug into a switch. Right? It's a much quicker, easier way of powering up the whole building. It's much safer than hardwiring into the big boxes. You have to take the panels down, these electric things, and then hook it. That's what this is.
But is the generator there, though? You're not gonna have to go,
It will never be
It has to
there.
be there.
It will never be there. It's the thing to plug a generator into if you need it.
yeah,
And
okay.
in that scenario, we would simply rent. We have a contract with Guarantee Restoration. They're our mitigation specialists. We already have standard pricing for all of these units where we just tell them power up these buildings and they rent it.
That's great. Okay. Thank you for explaining that. I didn't understand.
Yeah, well, fair question.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Number 5, All South, Mr. Bob Nord. And the item is to receive a report from Bob Nord from All South Consulting on Hurricane Ida damages.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so list is getting shorter. That's a good thing. A lot's happened in the last 2 months, and a lot more will be happening in the coming weeks. So permanent repairs left to do, we have the first 4 are all summer work, which involves kitchen hood replacements and or flooring at Norfolk Road Elementary School. So that's happening right now. That work should be completed within the next 2 to 3 weeks, definitely before school starts in August, which had to happen. So things are going well with that. South Lafourche High School chair and ROTC, as you know, the demolition is complete. In fact, Ashley, I think you can go to the slide. We may have something on this one. Yeah. So that's the view of chair And in the background was ROTC. So, ready to be put to bid and, well, not quite. We're still waiting on FEMA, but, we're getting some indications that that's getting closer. So, nothing definite. We have a tentative, I think bid date of maybe September. Is that correct? So he has his schematics done. In fact, next meeting, we're going to start reporting more on Chair and OTC, and he'll start, presenting some of that information. So that's that one. Let's just go through the slides and then we'll come back to this. Justin mentioned St. Charles Elementary, the demolition that's taking place. So that's some of the temp buildings coming down. You can go to the next. Andrea, looks familiar or what? I don't know, Andrea, you may know which building that was, but that's gone. That's where the footprint of the new building will be. You can see the concrete in the background. That's going to remain. That's the playground area. Keep going. That's the fence that's we put up. That was superintendent's wish to have that done. Well, not wish, demand, I should say. We did that for Bayou Blue, right, because of the close quarters. Chain link fence is fine, but you can see through it. So this is just more protection with the close proximity kids to construction. So that's good. Next. And that's the site cleared. That's pretty much where the building will start and then wrap around the concrete playground area towards the modular building. And then next one. Okay, we're going to jump around on this because I want Andy to speak on Bayou Buff, and then I'll come back and finish up the rest of them. So Andy, I'll just talk a little bit on this one.
Good evening again. So we have started some conceptual planning and FEMA coordination on the replacement of the Bayou Buff campus. This is a kind of an overlay site plan that we're coordinating with FEMA on. And what we're showing is the buildings are labeled, but kind of starting at the bottom, right, if you're familiar with the campus. The admin building / cafeteria building. Well, it's an easy way to say this. All of the buildings will be demolished except for that newer building in the top left portion of that campus. And what we call the Little Red Schoolhouse building. So as part of this overall scheme, we are going to replace all of those separated buildings with one single building. It's about 20,000 square feet, the current design, and it will fit roughly where this red T outline is. That's roughly the footprint of the building. As part of that reconstruction package, excuse me, we're going to move the Little Red Schoolhouse, which is currently at the top right of the picture, over to where the playground is on the left. And so that will give that Little Red Schoolhouse a little bit more prominence on the site. And that's actually where its original location was when it was first built, but not exactly, but close. So that building's been moved around on site and throughout the history. You can see in the kind of the blue outline, that's about where we're going to have new paving and parking. So 2 driveway entrances approximately where they are now. It'll just be hard surfaced. And so what will happen with this building, after we prepare this plan, we actually have to be in an elevation of 6 feet above sea level. Currently, the buildings that we're replacing are at about 2, give or take a 2. So this new building is going to be elevated approximately 4 feet. And so what we'll do with that, instead of bringing a whole bunch of fill into the entire site, is we're going to raise the building footprint and then transition, make that vertical transition with stairs and ramps. Very similar to what we did at South LaRose Elementary years ago when we did that one. So a similar solution there. And so again, the red outline, that T shape, is about the footprint of where the new building will be. And I think the next slide should be a conceptual floor plan of what we're looking at right now. The new, we'll zoom out a little bit on that, but the new building will house pre-K through 3rd grade with a bunch of support space in there, with 4th and 5th grade being in that building that's remaining on site. And so, again, this is a very high level plan of what we're going to propose, and as we refine this a little bit, we'll come back to this committee with some more pretty pictures and a more formal presentation. But just to show you where we are today, kind of at the bottom of the screen, the little section that's jutting out is a main entry stair and ramp assembly with a main entrance from the bus drive. When you come, you'll come into a secure vestibule, right, that we're doing in all of your schools now. So you'll enter into a secure vestibule, greeted by a receptionist, and I wish I had a pointer with me, but with the primary administrative space as being in the middle of the T. A large room off to the right of that is the cafetorium, and so that cafetorium is positioned very close to the main entry of the school. So if you've got after-hours functions, again, you don't have the public traversing through the entire school to get to the cafeteria. Just above the cafetorium, of course, is the kitchen space, coolers, freezers, storage, and things like that. So that long ramp, vertical ramp that's on the right-hand side will be primarily kitchen, receiving, and receiving kitchen units. The wing off to the left from administration is where 2 kindergarten classrooms through 2 third grade classrooms. So there's 2 classrooms of each grade, and as the students progress in age, they progress from the center of the building out to the left, and eventually out to the 4th and 5th grade building that'll be left. And then the top section of the T, if you don't mind just panning up a little bit, is pre-K, 2 special ed classrooms, a resource room, and right now the school nurse. And so again, those support spaces again are in the middle of the building, feeding the grades and the students kind of on all 3 sides of that wing. So again, this is a very high level concept that we're working with right now. I know Bob's team's in contact with FEMA right now for, I guess, other, continued discussions on that, but happy to take any questions at this point if y'all have it.
Real quick, the media center, you want to library?
Oh, yeah. So I mentioned the Little Red Schoolhouse earlier. The Little Red Schoolhouse will now, which I think was pre-K before, that will now be the library for the campus. So there'll be some covered walk connections from the main building to the Little Red Schoolhouse, which will be the library that serves the school.
Question. When you said that the cafeteria is close to the front for, you guys proposing maybe a chain gate coming down to the classrooms if you have something at night?
We probably will do something similar to what we did at the middle school, right? We cordoned off that hallway to prevent people from being able to walk back and forth. So this plan still has a lot of refinement to go, but we will, great point, we will control the access to the rest of the building. Yep. Good question.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, continuing, South Lafourche High School, item 6, is finishing up miscellaneous work. Nothing new to report on that. Mainly HVAC that we had to put back in, a few units are going to be reinstalled, and that work is going to be happening now and ongoing. Central Lafourche and CM Washington, that's the roof repair work that is also ongoing. The athletic field, so the press box and concession stands. We did hear back from FEMA on this one. We still don't have a final determination. So there's going to be more back and forth on pricing mainly. So our number was up here. Theirs is down here. So, yeah, they left out quite a few things. Somehow they forgot to consider that we're in a flood zone and wind zone when they did their pricing. So the architect is working on a rebuttal letter to FEMA explaining, point by point why the cost is what it is. So that dialogue is going to continue. We have float. I think Grandal Shipyard had 3 months of schedule to do this work, which means, late start would be October. That's a little tight in my book, but that's still 4 months away. So we're going to have a determination before that. So I don't see an issue with, having this done by baseball season next year, which, we're shooting for January 1st. I think season only starts mid-February. So that's the goal. More to follow on that, obviously, as we get more information. Go to middle. Nothing too much new to report on this one. We will start bringing Domain in, the designer, when we get closer. It's a big project, just like we're doing with St. Charles and Andy with Bayou Buff. So they'll be presenting their report on the school. You already seen, I believe, at one point we came and showed y'all the schematics. We'll start bringing that back up into focus as, again, we get closer to moving into that particular project. Again, we're looking at a late start date of January with a notice to proceed for construction. Again, we're all gearing this towards meeting school year 2026. This is for Bayou Buff and for Golden Meadow Middle. It's ambitious, but, you know, we're pushing. A lot of this is riding on FEMA, to be honest with you. So we'll just see. And just to know that our team at All South on the FEMA side is really poking and prodding and pushing. This is taking that to get them to move. So we got some higher ups in FEMA that we have open dialogue with and helping move things along. And that's why we're starting to see a lot happening in these last couple of weeks. Okay, that's all I have. Are there any questions?
Thank you
you.
very much. All right, that moves us to item 6, which is new business. A is to receive a report from lead accountant Shasta Chasson in reference to ongoing project. Chasson?
Good evening. Our major construction fund has 2 bond referendums. The 2017 bond has a total referendum of $19.2 million. The budgets for these projects are $19.2 million. Actual spent to date with encumbrances total $17.8 million. All funds are obligated. The 2021 bond has a total referendum of $50.4 million. The total budgets for these projects are $50.4 million. Actual spent to date with encumbrances total $35.2 million. All funds are obligated.
Thank you very much. E, to consider a change order request for HVAC renovations at Golden Meadow Lower Elementary School. No?
We're recommending that you accept the change order request in the sum of $11,702.52 for asbestos abatement services at Golden Meadow Lower Elementary School for HVAC renovation.
I have a motion by Mr. LaFont, second by Ms. Bourgeois. Any public comment? Any board discussion? If not, we'll go ahead and vote. That motion carries. Item C, to consider a change order request for various Hurricane Ida repairs at South Lafourche High School.
Recommended action is to accept the change order request for various high school Hurricane Ida repairs in the sum of $38,015.27 for South Lafourche High School. This includes $2,022.27 for the removal and replacement of inoperable HVAC louver discovered during renovations, $20,599 for duct cleaning and application of Foster's 4020, $8,184 to connect HVAC units in the hall and field house, and $7,210 for supplemental services for typographic survey for the building of the ROTC.
I have a motion by Mr. LaFont. I have a second by Ms. Bourgeois. Any public comment? Any board discussion? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Charpentier?
I have a question about Foster's 4020. Can you explain that, please?
Come on down and fill us in, please.
So y'all remember the fog and whip scenario we
Yes.
discussed? So we fog and whip, and then this is a coating that after you fog and whip, you apply this coating, and it's supposed to allow the duct to last longer once you fog and whip it. It's just another spray application of a product inside the ductwork.
Thank you, because I had the exact same question.
Yes. You're learning all coming from you.
Any other board comments or questions? Thank you. If not, we'll vote. And that item carries. And then D, to consider a change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs at La Rose Cutoff Middle School.
We're asking you to consider a change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs in the sum of $2,307.04 for bond rate costs at the Rose Cutoff Middle School.
I have a motion by Ms. Bourgeois, a second by Mr. LaFont. Any public comment? Any board discussion? With none, we'll vote. And that item also carries. Being said, this is the end of the business, the meeting is adjourned.